Hey guys, what's up? My name is Jack Sweeney, and today we're going to be talking about my top 10 favorite movies and TV shows. But this time it's going to be quarantine edition, which means these will be my top 10 favorite movies or TV shows I've seen over quarantine thus far. Now, I've tried to record this a bunch of times, but I've been seeing new movies constantly. So let me tell you that this list may change as I watch more over quarantine, because quarantine technically still is going on. Not in New Jersey, but still, we're gonna dive in today, and you guys are gonna see which are my favorites. And I'm also gonna name some honorable mentions, which I don't usually do, but I'm gonna do that today since I have a lot of movies I've seen over quarantine. But with that said, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more of my content. And in my next video, I'm going to be doing my top 10 favorite TV shows. So pay attention in this one because there may be some TV shows in this one that could be in the next one, and vice versa. With that said, let's get on with the video. Coming in at number 10 is Star Wars The Clone Wars. Now, I haven't seen the entire show. I haven't seen season 7, which is like the big finale. But this TV show is like, it's meant to be like a kid show. But it actually does a lot of great storytelling, and it gives a lot of, you know, information and like plot storylines between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. And it really enhances your viewings of Attack of the Clones and mostly Revenge of the Sith. But also what it does, it has, for an animated TV show, it has great action and great character development between Ahsoka and Anakin, great dialogue, and um, for a Star Wars animated TV show, the animation is sorry, the animation is pretty good. And what I love also is that the stories in each episode, they make you want to keep watching. It's like, oh, wow, that's a great story. And like usually there's a part two to the story. I mean, it usually is not like episode this part two, but it usually continues on to the next episodes, and then it starts at a new story. But yes, the seasons I've watched so far, which is season 1 and a little bit of season 2, have been amazing. I've heard from a lot of different people that this show is really great. So that is my number 10. Coming in at number 9 is James Bond from Russia with Love. Now, this movie, when I first watched it, it's the second movie in the James Bond, like ever, second James Bond movie ever made. And I love it. I think it's better than Doctor No, which I also watched over quarantine, but it is not in my top 10. It's a really great movie, and it also has you. I'm not going to really spoil these for you guys. I say that a lot in my videos, but it has great action and fight sequences. It has a great story in general. And, it's very, suspenseful. You're like, oh, what's going to happen next? And it also, you want to keep watching. Like when I was watching this, I'm like, ooh, this looks interesting. What's going to happen? And the cast is amazing. And the story, for me, I think it flows very fluently and well, and that definitely would be a movie I'd recommend watching after you watch Doctor No, and I would definitely watch it again because it's really a terrific movie, and it's one of my favorite James Bond movies. But coming in at number 8 is a TV show, and it is Friends. Now, I know what a lot of you are thinking, like, you're just watching Friends now? Yeah, and I'm not what I haven't they've been on Nickelodeon, so I haven't been watching them in order, but I still can understand what's going on, and it is very funny, number 1. The cast is amazing, and um so far from what episodes I've watched, I like it. I think it's really good, and I had to include it because I'm like, okay, this show. I can tell it would be one that I love, and it has a lot of memorable moments, most of which I haven't seen, but still, the ones I have seen are they're very funny, and also the characters and cast is very on point. I think that they did an amazing job casting this show because it really the chemistry between all the actors, really you really see them connecting, and it actually is like, oh wow, these are like a group of best friends. So yes, I love that movie, and I love that TV show from what episodes I've seen, and I think it is a very good TV show. I recommend watching it. Coming in at number 7 is Parks and Recreation. Now, I just started watching this at like the beginning of quarantine, and I absolutely love it. Like Friends, it is very funny, but it also has an office type of feel, like the Office TV show. And what they do, like the concept of the story is very creative. Like they're from the Parks and Recreation department, like that's their job. And it's like, hey, we can make something funny. We can make a TV show that's funny from something that, like, from a job, like just a random job, like The Office, like Dunder Mifflin, a random paper company, and it's hysterical. All the episodes are great because they cast they make the characters funny, and the cast is amazing. So same thing with Parks and Rec. The cast is great. I think they did an amazing job with all the roles from Leslie to Ron to April to all the characters. And like I said, each episode, the story flows very well. And yeah, it's a very funny show and very creative show. And if you haven't seen it, I recommend watching because it is an amazing show. And I personally love it. But coming in at number 6 is an animated movie, Disney animated movie, that I watched for the first time like a month ago. And that is The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Now, The Hunchback of Notre Dame it's just one of the best Disney movies during the 90s. I mean, it has amazing music and songs, like catchy songs, not like Beauty and the Beast, but still really great songs. It has a great story, and obviously the hand-drawn animation's amazing. And also another thing, the villain, he is one of my favorite types of villains. Like that's not like, oh, a clumsy villain or like a villain that just wants to be evil. Because he thinks the villain in this movie, Frollo, thinks he's doing good and serving God, which is like I find it interesting that he thinks in his mind he's doing something good. Like he actually says it. And the other villains, sometimes some villains just want to be bad, but he is one of those types of villains that actually can reflect actual people in real life, which I find to be very cool. But yes, Hunchback's an amazing movie. If you haven't seen it, you need to watch it because it's absolutely amazing. Coming in at number 5 is The Matrix. Now, The Matrix, first thing I want to say, terrific editing on the cruise part of this movie. I mean, all of the cinematography, that's what it's called, the editing, the way they move in slow motion, the stunts are awesome, and an amazing cast. Really, an amazing cast. And also, the story and concept is one that I was like, ooh, made me want to watch the movie. And yeah, the action is amazing, and it's a great blend of action and sci-fi and like a thriller type of movie. It's really interesting how because that was one of the first movies that like, did like mind-bending stuff. And it really was interesting how they were able to blend all those themes together to make The Matrix, which I absolutely love. If you haven't seen it, you need to watch it because it is an amazing movie. I recommend watching it because it's absolutely a terrific movie. And yeah, it's really just, there's not much more I could say about it. Coming in at number 4. Now, this movie, when I watched it, I was always really interested in Christopher Nolan's movies, like The Dark Knight. Um, I'm really excited for his movie Tenet that's coming out, and this movie, I was like, "Ooh, I need to watch it." It sounds like a great movie. It sounds like part of like what The Matrix was, but in a different way, and it's absolutely terrific. And that movie is Inception. Inception, like Matrix, has a great blend of action and sci-fi, or like mind-bending stuff. It's not much of sci-fi like The Matrix is. Um, but this is the one movie I knew I had to point something out in it because when I first watched it, I'm like, oh god, this is amazing. When Arthur if you've seen the movie, when Arthur's in he stays behind when in the hotel when the others go into the next part of the dream, and he's in the hallway, and like the whole room is like switching around. They're jumping from the ceiling, and there's gunplay in it, and they're fighting, they're punching each other, and they're sliding all over the place. It's so cool. I mean, really, it is one of the best edited scenes, or one of the best stunt scenes in that movie, in my opinion. But the whole movie in general, it has cool stunts, a really great concept about about extraction from dreams and entering into someone else's mind to control their dreams and see what they're thinking about. So yeah, that's an amazing on the writer's part, and just like I said before, great stunts. I mean, when I was watching this, I'm like, whoa, they're making all these stunts. I mean, really, it's amazing what they can do with technology now, because you can tell the difference between the 90s, which was 99, which was the Matrix editing and all the stunts and things that went into that. And then you can tell Inception, which is like a 2012 or 2010, around that time, movie, and you can tell. And I guarantee you, in the 10 years from when that movie came out, which was probably like 2022, or maybe something like that. By like 2030, there's going to be, even more stuff that's going to be coming up, and even more advancements that are going to make movies terrific, and make mind-bending sci-fi action thriller, whatever you want to call it, movies great. And I personally love this movie, and there's really nothing more I can say about it. And the music enhances, for all of these. The music enhances. I've noticed this with a lot of movies and TV shows I've watched. The music literally enhances the way the movie flows. Because, like, if you think about it, if there was no music in a certain movie, like in an action movie, you just hear just punches, and it's not good. It doesn't sound, suspenseful, and like, oh, who's gonna die? Who's gonna win, or whatever the story, how it's gonna go. But yes, an amazing movie. It's on Netflix. Inception. If you haven't seen it, go on Netflix if you have it, because it is an amazing movie. And yeah, these top five, my next three, and The Matrix and Inception, are movies I'm gonna definitely watch again over this quarantine, because it is just an amazing movie. So check it out. Coming in at number three is James Bond Goldfinger. Now, this debatably is the best James Bond movie ever made. It has great action, memorable lines, like memorable one-liners. It's very well written, very well written, and this adventure is for James Bond is an interesting one, because of the villain. Because this villain, Mr. Goldfinger, I'm pretty sure that's what his last name is, or whatever his name is, he doesn't fight, which is he's like a mob boss type person who just wants money and not fame, just wants money, and just wants to be rich, or wants to get what he wants. Now, in the previous movies, the the villains are usually, I'm not sure about Doctor No because I haven't watched it in a while, but they were villains who could fight. Now, he doesn't really do this. He has like his assistant with the bowler hat guy with that he throws in and it cuts off someone's head or something. But yes, a great cast, and it's, oh god, it's just, I can't really. I'm losing my train of thought. Sorry. It has amazing scenes of action, which I already said, and overall, it's just an amazing movie that really highlights what a James Bond film should be: an action adventure type of movie. So yes, this James Bond movie is my favorite of all of them, and you need to check it out because it is an amazing movie. And real quick, I'm going to get off topic for a second. What I love about the James Bond movies, the Sean Connery ones, is that they're PG, which means that kids can watch them, but they still have a great action in them, which makes them good films for older people, or like teenagers, or like adults. And also they're classics anyway. But yes, Goldfinger is an amazing movie and an amazing concept, amazing action, and just overall a great story. But coming in at number 2, a movie I actually watched last week. I knew I watched this last week because I was like, ooh, what movie should I watch? I wanted to watch a new one, and this was one I haven't seen. I was like, okay, I think like a year and a half ago, I'm like, I'm gonna watch this movie. Then it didn't interest me, and I was like, oh. Then I was gonna watch it again. It wasn't free on my on demand. It wasn't on Netflix. Finally, I'm like, you know what? I'm sitting down and I'm watching this movie because I heard it's amazing, and that is Apollo 13. Now, Apollo 13 is a great adaptation to, historical events. And it has a great like spin on it in the way that it's not just like facts. It actually has like suspense, like, oh my god, are they gonna get out? Even though you know that Apollo 13, none of them die. But it's like if you told someone, like if someone didn't know what Apollo 13 was, I would have thought, if I didn't know, I would have been like, oh my god, they're gonna die. Like it's one of I would have thought that one of them, maybe not Tom Hanks's character or the person who Tom Hanks plays, I would have thought that one of them was gonna die. One of them was. And none of them die, which I was like, wow, they make it so suspenseful that you really think that one of them's gonna die or the ship's gonna explode or something. But it has great special effects, just amazing in general, like the space views of the moon and the actual spacecraft itself, and a great cast of Tom Hanks, Kevin Bacon, Bill Paxton, and yes, overall great lines. And one memorable line that we all know and love: Houston, we have a problem. But yes, this is an amazing movie, and I definitely recommend watching because it's not inappropriate, it's not scary. If I would recommend this to almost like any age group between like 10 and up, really, because it's an amazing movie. And if you haven't seen it, you need to watch it because I absolutely think this is a great movie. And it just, is one of my top 50 favorite movies of all time. But before I go into my favorite movie of all time that I've seen over quarantine, I have three honorable mentions because I couldn't leave these out because they are just as good as the other ones, and I had to include them. But number one, the first one that I have is Casino Royale, which is another James Bond movie, which is with Daniel Craig, and this really takes up a notch of the action from Sean Connery's versions, and it's a great story overall. Number two, my second one is Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Now this movie, it's a comedy. It's just a funny movie in general. It's a great concept, even though it's been done before. They did it really well. Great story, great cast, great characters. Just it's just an amazing movie. If you haven't seen it, it's really for kids 10 and up because there are some themes in there that some kids might not get. But it's just a very funny comedic adventure. Um, Number three is Get Smart. This is my last one now. Get Smart with Steve Carell, Anne Hathaway, Dwayne Johnson, and the rest of the cast. It's a very funny movie, but also has some great action. Even though it's not, you know, the greatest movie, even though there are better action movies that have comedy in them, it's still a decent movie, and I personally love it. For some people, it's a decent movie. I think it's really good, and Steve Carell is just amazing in it. But yes, those are my three honorable mentions. Now, coming in at number one, the one, the only, Casablanca. Now, whenever I talk to an adult about this, or like older than someone who's like 21 or older, or maybe just 20 or older, 18 now, they're like, "You've seen Casablanca? You sat through that? You like that?" And yeah, I'm like, "Yeah, it's really good." And here are the reasons why. It has a great story, an amazing cast. Humphrey Bogart. I don't know the other people's names. I only know Humphrey Bogart, but very memorable lines. There were like five. There were like okay. There were like six lines I knew before I saw the movie. I'm like, hey, I know that movie. I mean, hey, I know that line. Overall, it's just a classic, and there are great characters, and it is just one of the best films of all time. Some memorable lines of all the gin joints and all the towns and all the world. What else? Play it, Sam. Play as time goes by. That just an amazing movie, and people are surprised because kids don't usually want to watch, old movies that are like, oh, they're like, it's not in color, okay. And now, like, people just want to watch, like action movies and stuff like that. But this is a classic movie. I recommend everybody should watch this. I think the ages of 8 and up, depending on, the way a kid feels about movies. But this is just an amazing movie. Everyone should watch it. And yes, it's just an amazing movie. Oh, and one more thing. It has a lot of historical references in it, which I'm into because I love history. So it enhanced my experience even more. But it's just an amazing movie, an amazing concept for that time. It was one of the best movies of all time during that time, and still is. So yes, Casablanca is my favorite movie I've seen over quarantine. And yes, I absolutely love it. If you haven't seen it, you need to watch it because it is an amazing movie. And I think that every single person who likes film or who likes movies or who's like, oh, I'm am a movie critic. I love movies, needs to see this movie because you cannot say you are a movie critic unless you haven't seen this and Apollo 13 as well, the two on this list, but also some other ones that I'm not going to go into right now. But anyway, that is all for today. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. In my next video, I'm going to be doing my top 10 favorite TV shows, strictly TV shows. So hope you guys paid attention because some of them are going to be coming back in the next video. But I hope you guys are still staying safe during this virus. And yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.